So the last time I saw you, we were inside in F015.
Almost 2 years ago.
So looks like you've been busy there.
We have been very busy. It's actually not the only car we worked on. So we worked on other cars for a show, for a series, so very different cars. But now we are sitting in a Generation EQ, and I can show you a little bit what's innovative inside the car, especially for the UI topic. So let's start with all the different information areas we have in a car. We have first of all, which is really new, like a light band. And the light band will visualize information over the light, or through light. And I can explain you a little bit about this in a second. Then you see like a whole big dashboard where we have a very holistic big screen. You see there's no frame anymore. And then we have a small ambient screen here in the middle. And then of course like our touch field to interact with the bigger screen, the dashboard screen. So let's start with the ambient screen. What's really interesting is we use a very reduced interface. So the ambient screen for us is only for more ambient information which the person is using for acoustically, for temperature, and for visual. So for example, we have like the acoustic music, so we can swipe and switch to another song. We can adjust the loud and the volume, set it up and down. And you see it's a very reduced fine line, and we more show information in a more emotional, very intuitive way, not so fact-based. Yeah, it's not like the volume is on 7, but the volume we visualize through a very reduced line. What else we can do is we can adjust the light band here. You see we can switch to different color, and so we adjust the color just through this band, and we can reduce or push up the intensity of the light band as well. And the last part is the climate. It's very fancy, so you might want to take this part here. So see, if we adjust the climate, for example, and reduce the temperature, we have a visual feedback which is really the more cooler colors, more blue, or if we push it up like to 24 degrees, it's getting red. After a couple of seconds there's a fade out time, and so it jumps back to the previous color. So with this ambient screen we are adjusting like temperature, acoustics, and the visual color of the light band. What else we have is like a whole dashboard, which is very interesting because we are using the whole here topics with the 3D maps, and the 3D has a lot of potential. So we can, for example, zoom in, zoom out, rotate the map. It's very interesting. So let's start on what we did here in the map. Let's start at the beginning. Let's swipe back a little bit. Okay.
This is the first time you're showing something this big that's a proper working here map design.
Yes. It's actually, we are working with here very closely together. Our Sunnywear team is actually working on the here tour with the engineers, with the designers, and of course with the specialists from here. And we included it into the show car, and of course we are working on this one to bring it into a series, also with the 3D possibilities. And the tour has a lot of great possibilities.
Is that a touchpad you're using?
This is a small touchpad to swipe the content. Right now up and down, just to go through different modi I can show you.
Sure.
So let's go up again and start it. So for example, we have a very reduced information. You will see once this instrument cluster swipes through, you see what we did with this one. You see there's like 1 gauge in copper, so copper was our color. White is more the boost mode, so if the energy is boosting, you get the white interface and then the white line. Here you see the very reduced mode, so you have only the digital speed, you have your map, and that's it. You know, sometimes you don't need more information. For example, if you're on the autobahn. If you're maybe on a city, you have more complex information, so it's more 2 gauges. Now it's detecting energy, and we are going on the energy road, so inductive charging, and you see that the gauges are turning blue, and the whole interior turns blue and visualizes through the light band that the car is charging. Right now it's too loud on the fair, but there's some acoustic behind it as well, which shows you, hey, the car is detecting energy and gives you the acoustic as or the information more as an acoustic information, not as a pop-up, here there's energy, but it gives you acoustic feedback, hey, I detected energy for you in the surrounding, do you want to charge? And then you go, for example, on an inductive street or on different power, different charging station, and once the car is charging, you also get a feedback, like a small vibration in the background and the visualization and the turning into blue, so you always know when the car is charging. So we did, like, in this area, two main topics: the here topics, the 3D topics, and very reduced or more complex style of the gauges. So, for example, here it's detecting energy. You see the pattern here. It shows you visualized that there is some energy detection, and now it's charging. And if you hear closely, you hear. Okay, let's first try it's detecting charging. Let's see.
Yes.
And now it's detecting, and now we are going onto the road. You see, it's turned blue, and now it's charging. It's like the pulsating.
So that just happens automatically.
Yeah. So once it's detecting the energy, it starts to gives you the information acoustically, but also visually. Visually, you see the pattern in the gauge. It shows you, hey, there's some energy around here. Look for it. And then once it's charging, gives you this pulsating information. So you have like two visualizations at the end, or maybe even three. The gauges turn blue. The light band shows you, hey, it's charging, and shows you the status of the charging. So it then pulls up the lines, and then also you get the acoustic information why it's charging. So there's a lot of information now starting to step out of the display. We use visual feedback in the light band. We use the visual feedback also in the climate.
So this is the climate here.
Yeah, this is the climate.
Is where the air vents would come out.
This is the climate control. So if I swipe down, for example, I say, okay, I want to have cooler air, it turns blue. And then there will be after a couple of seconds, there's a fade out again into the normal color, which I set up. Or if I swipe and say, hey, I want a more warmer temperature, you see how the information as a visual feedback go up in the gauges. See? So I start to give information more in a more holistic way. So I give information acoustically with the sound. I give information visually with color feedback. It's not also only very fact-based, which is in a display. So it's a more sensual information I give around in a car, in the whole room. It's a very immersive information I'm using, and it's not only fact-based, which is very precise information, which is visualized in the displays. Okay. For example, did you see here how the map, the buildings went up and down?
Mm-hmm.
Let's start it again. Yeah. So imagine you want to also on the map have very reduced information. You don't want to have the overkill, because if you look outside of the windows of the car, you see the whole complexity already. You see all the buildings, you can't see behind the buildings. Is this the same thing you want to see on the map, or is this something you want to use the map for to guide you a little bit through the whole city? And so you can say, hey, I only want to have different buildings on the route, or maybe only the building on the destination of the route, or I want to have that only the buildings elevate which show me special restaurants, for example. So I can start adjusting content of the map. And that's in real time. So whenever I drive through the city and say, hey, only show me these restaurants, it can do it at any position. Right now, a lot of times it's pre-rendered or it's animated, but here it's just showing in real time. So let's see. Of course, it can highlight different buildings. You see it here. If I go back, of course, I can switch perspectives. I can rotate it. You have seen this rotation as well. I can zoom in, zoom out. I can rotate the city.
And you're using that from the touchpad?
Yes, I'm using it from touchpad right now. And then let's see, some other things are included. Of course, can show me information like routes. It can all the different contents in a city. It could show me, of course. Let's see. It's highlighting buildings in here. Just let's let it run through once, and then the ones which are not included here yet, and we are trying for the CS, I can talk a little bit about, and then some more detailed information Alex can give you for sure. Of course, can show me energy levels, so it could show me the prediction of the route in the city. So it can estimate, hey, like you would need so and so much energy for the route. It can of course have all the facts from other cars and compare you. It's also like interesting information. Now you hear again that the car is detecting energy, so you see the pattern in the gauge and you hear the acoustic.
So what does that mean when the car is detecting
energy?
Wireless charging?
Yes. It means that you can, for example, go wireless on inductive routes. Is it inductive in English as well?
Yes.
So you're driving on top of a road, or you can connect to another car, and the car is giving you information, energy. And
so you're doing.
It's both.
Charging
from car
both
to
from
car, and from street, or from truck to car. It's also possible, or from street to car. Of course, this is it's still a vision, but there are experts working on these scenarios. So it's not utopia. So there are even countries who are already testing these scenarios as well. It's really very interesting. So what I didn't see, so this is the last mile again. Of course, you can then bring it onto your mobile device and use it. And let's see if the other ones are included. This is something very interesting. At the beginning, can show me the energy it still has to go through the different areas. Here the information elevates. Let's see if it starts. I think what is not included yet, what we can do as well is it can show, or the whole city can be shown for different daytimes. So you can show the sunrise and sunset. You always know at what position the sun will be. So for example, if there will be solar cars or solar station or whatever in the future, which also has to do with energy, then of course it's also possible to show the best spot to put your car on, because that's the best spot where the sun can come.
You've thought of everything.
So this is something which is really possible. You can change a lot of things in the 3D here tool.
Can we talk a little bit about the rear view camera and the backup camera?
Yeah.
It seems like that's changing, and do you think that's realistic to have, or as we get closer, regulations will determine whether we can use it or not?
So of course, whoever you ask at the company, the persons who are involved more into the regulations probably know more the regulations better. We know more the visions, what we think should be possible in the future. So once there are really cameras for the rear, it has some more advantages, because on the one side you can show the whole camera view, but it's also possible to switch the positions. You can even build information on top of the camera. So right now you see in the background, you see of course the back camera, but now imagine there is some information on top of it. So you can, for example, highlight cars, or you can highlight dangers, or you can highlight them for information. So it's more like an AR experience, really. It's augmented information on top of the camera view. So I think that has a lot of advantages in the future. And right now the mirror shows you really what's physical behind you possible, but the cameras have some more possibilities, and you can even adjust. For example, if you're parking, you can adjust the angle of the view, and right now that's not so possible. And of course we are pushing this technology forward, so it can come in the future series cars for the people to buy.
Thank you so much for the time, Vera.
Sure, you're welcome. Enjoy.
You bet.